just the usual nutmeg trip. What's going on is Soma, and welcome to Deliriant Week 2021. This report was sent in by Soma, the drugs used, nutmeg and tobacco, at a dose of 7 nuts, the route administration, orally and smoked, gender, male, weight 80 kilograms, age 19, for his prior experience, cannabis, alcohol, and LSA. For his set, he notes bad mental space, and the setting, alone in the city. Okay, so welcome to the 8th episode in Deliriant Week 2021. This is the only nutmeg report we'll be presenting, and it isn't even necessarily filled with delirium. In fact, it's a positive nutmeg experience, which I've been meaning to showcase for quite a while now, and figured this could help show the other side of nutmeg, the actual real recreational side of it. Now on the internet, there is somewhat of confusion about nutmeg, whether it's actually a deliriant or not. We aren't doing a full breakdown here because nutmeg does contain many different compounds, but one thing is that it doesn't act as an anticholinergic. But this doesn't necessarily mean it can't be delirious. The effects aren't fully understood, but many do report that it hardly acts as a typical deliriant, leaving many with a recreational high similar to cannabis. This is because nutmeg has shown to influence the endocannabinoid system. And looking back at nutmeg reports we've covered, I believe the only time delirium has popped up off of it has been when it was mixed with cannabis. This may suggest that delirium can be present with nutmeg, particularly with this combination, but possibly with higher doses as well. But Soma here reports a favorable experience with it, even to the point where he claims it's his favorite substance. You'll just see how he doesn't really have a delirious experience at all. So I'm sure you'll enjoy this. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. I've been eating a lot of nutmeg lately. I think it would be great if I told you one of my trips, because it seems like online there's a lot of people hating on it, but I usually have great experiences with it. Maybe it's just because my brain chemistry. I started using nutmeg as a way of getting high, not knowing it would show me a very interesting part of the psychedelic mindset. One occasion, I ate 7 nutmegs, and since I read online that cinnamon tea makes the effect stronger, I made a lot of it and drank it with the nutmeg. It tasted fine, way better than nutmeg alone anyway. And then I waited at home for the effects to start. By 2 hours, I felt lightly stoned. At 4 hours, I was very stoned, but without the paranoia that usually comes when I smoke weed. The sedation at this point is very intense. However, it depends on what kind of nutmeg you're eating. Some kinds make me feel very awake. At 5 hours is where I am usually entering nutmeg land, if you know what I mean. Colors are becoming more beautiful, sounds are becoming extremely loud. I can hear everything going around me if I just sit and pay attention. At this point, the body high is very pleasant. It's like a combination of weed and alcohol, but far better. Music is extremely beautiful, way better than on weed. The headspace starts becoming very interesting at the 6-hour mark. I am thinking about a lot of weird things, and when I close my eyes, I can almost see movies inside my head. At the 7-hour mark, sight is very altered. It's like I am in a cartoon. Details disappear from everywhere, colors are shifting, and time goes very, very slow. Anyway, I was still at home, but for some reason, I decided to go to the city. The 10-minute walk felt like 2 hours, and it's not like I am moving anywhere. On my way, I bumped into 2 friends. I shook hands with them, talked about our lives, and I felt very happy, although I was trying to hide how heavily I was tripping. Now, if someone eats this amount of nutmeg, it is possible for them to hallucinate, which makes me very stupid for going alone into the city. Back to the story. At some point during the conversation, their faces started to melt, which made me freak out a little, because inside I was really hoping that I'm not talking to midair. But I said goodbye and figured, what if I was? And decided that it didn't really matter. After that, the weird thing was, time continued to slow with every step I took. It potentiated to a point where I felt like I was stuck in the Matrix, and I was taking the same step over and over again. And as weird as it sounds, I very much enjoyed it. It was the best walk of my life. The visuals were peaking at this point. People look fake and simulated. I started to feel like I'm in a video game, but it wasn't scary. It was kind of fun. Although everything looks so fake, deep down, having decided that it doesn't even matter if anything is fake or not, I realized that the word fake doesn't really mean anything in that sense. So I was walking along with these super complicated and otherworldly thoughts and feelings that I never felt in my life, and I realized that I felt completely free, and my sober self, from that perspective, seemed like just a slave of society, not really my true self. Since I felt like I was overwhelming my mind, I decided it would be a great idea to just sit down and start thinking. I don't know how much time I was sitting on that bench, but I can tell you it felt like time didn't exist anymore, and it was just a funny human construct to me. I completely silenced my mind. I was having zero thoughts, and a very strong loss of identity. Basically, it was like I was a floating ball of emptiness, like I was pure consciousness. It was very healing, needless to say. I walked home since the nutmeg made me very sleepy, and slept for 30 hours. I've only tried alcohol, THC, and LSA, but nutmeg is by far my favorite and forever will be.